Hey guys, hope you're all doing great. So today I'll be talking to you about a book I read recently during my stay in Sabadell. I was training for water polo. So it's a really interesting book with many hidden messages. It was written by Lindsay Currie, and it was actually her very first novel. Did you know that? Now it was published back in 2017, so it's been there for a while now. It's a kind of ghost story that gives you chills, but actually it also truly makes you care about the characters. Like, honestly, I really enjoy reading the book because I just felt like the characters were real, and I felt that I had a relation with them. Now let's begin. This is actually how the cover of the book looks like. I can show it to you also live if you want. This is it. Yeah, can you see it? Yeah, it's the same thing basically. So it's called The Peculiar Incident on Shady Street. Now, the title does foreshadow what's gonna happen in this book, but honestly, I don't think you have any idea of how complicated this plot is. So, a bit about the author. She's the #1 New York Times and USA Today best-selling author of spooky mysteries for young readers. Um, so the publisher of the book is called Aladdin. It's called Aladdin. The publishing house is called Aladdin by Simon and Schuster. They first published this book first published in October 10th, 2017. It's 304 pages, but you can also have it as an ebook or an audiobook. Now, did you know that this plot is actually inspired by a real Chicago ghost legend of Inez Clark and the Graceland Cemetery. Now, this whole little bit made it just a bit more interesting. Do you agree? Now, about the plot. So, I promise not to spoil the ending, guys, but obviously I just need to explain what's happening so I get to catch your interest. So Tessa Woodward, our main protagonist, is 12 years old, and she is not happy. Her family moves from sunny Florida to cold and rainy Chicago. Honestly, I wouldn't be happy either. It sounds nice in Florida. Anyway, she has to leave her best friend behind. That's not nice either. I wouldn't like to leave my best friends behind. Then, her new house, guess what? It starts acting very weird. The lights are flickering on their own. She's hearing crying at night. The drawings she never made appear in her sketchpad. And the creepiest of all, her little brother's doll cries real tears. Now, about that, in the book, she is really troubled by this doll. Now, it sounds like it is actually really creepy. She's describing it as a ventriloquist dummy. It's apparently a dinosaur, and her brother has called it Reno. The name sounds cute, but trust me, if you read the book, you're gonna get it. It's not cute. It's not nice. Does not sound nice at all. Anyway, so luckily she makes three new friends: Andrew, Nina, and Nina's twin brother Richie. And together they start following the clues toward a real Chicago cemetery mystery. The clues are listed here um on my screen. So there are flickering lights and phantom footsteps. There are drawings that appear on their own on her sketchpad. The doll that cries real tears. And eventually, reading books and by doing some research, they understand that there's a ghost haunting this house, and that it apparently the real body is buried in a 100-year-old cemetery. And that's where the story begins. So, for anyone who wants the full picture, here's the whole story in 3 different acts. Sounds like Shakespeare. Okay, that shouldn't have said acts. Anyways, so when her father takes a new job in the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, Tessa Woodward's life changes completely. she has to struggle with homesickness while she's really trying hard not to make her parents feel guilty. Basically in Act 2, the whole haunting part of the story begins. So almost immediately she feels that this street, this house is not welcoming. She's not up to living in there. But, I mean, does she really have a choice? No, she doesn't. So, all the weird things I listed before start happening. Crying during the night, footsteps, drawings. Eventually, Tessa admits at school to her friends that her house is absolutely haunted. And her three classmates and friends jump in to help her investigate. Okay, apart from Richie, who is a scaredy cat. Yeah. Okay, so in the third part of the story, they actually understand what's going on and they actually figure out who the ghost is. Now, the ghost is called Inez Clark. I won't elaborate on that because that's basically the whole mystery, discovering who that ghost really is behind that name. But that's basically uh the that's basically the story, that's basically the plot. Now, here are the themes of this book. So, why is this more than just a scary story? I mean, obviously, it's creepy, it's giving me goosebumps, but it's not just that. So, here are the six big ideas I noticed. Tessa's new friends show up exactly when she needs them. And that's friendship and belonging, because basically Tessa is getting into a completely new environment. She's never been to Chicago, and she absolutely needs friends, and they just appear at the perfect time. Then we have courage. Um, so instead of running away from what scares her, she sort of learns to face it. Because, well, yeah, okay, of course you're scared of a ghost and you're probably gonna run away from it at some point. But eventually you have to investigate if you just want to get rid of it, right? Um, then we have change and homesickness. Okay, so basically leaving your beloved home behind and leaving beloved people behind is really hard. And living at a very strange and new place, well, you cannot call that home that easily, can you? But along the story, along the way, she understands that a completely new, weird, and scary looking place can also become your home. Then we have family and teamwork. That's another theme. Um, so basically, she had a family back in Chicago. She had friends, but now this is completely new for her. Basically, she has to make new friends, make new steps, and start everything over. Basically, her family is there with her, ready to help her, but it's not easy to make new friends, is it? So she understands that uh, by slowly trying and by not running away from hard stuff, everything becomes easier when you face stuff together. Then we have empathy, which is the, the one theme at the heart of the book, because the so-called ghost, the so-called monster, turns out to be just a hurting child, and Tessa learns to understand its pain instead of only fearing it. Now, I'm not trying to leak the plot, guys, but this may have helped you a bit, but sorry about that. But it's really more complicated than that. Now, last theme, identity and growing up. So, uh, it's basically you're really trying to figure out who you are and what you're doing when everything familiar is gone. So, if we have time to discuss later, a great question: how does Tessa change from the very first page to the very last one? I'll try and talk about that at the end. Now, here's my main argument about the book. On the surface, Tessa's problem is the haunted house, but lying underneath is something that every adolescent knows. It's being pulled away from your friends, your school, and the place that made you feel like yourself. and being asked to start over at a completely new, completely different place. Now, is that easy? Of course not. But did she try? She made new friends, and that, of course, that helped her. Her family was there for her. Although, let's admit it, if you have read this book, her family is really, really not okay. They're really weird people. Of course, they're letting her be very free, and that also contributed to her feeling more comfortable in this new environment. But she's not sure that that's what she wants. She never really agreed to going to Chicago. Her parents just told her it was better for her because her dad had just found a new job. Now, Currie, the writer of this book, turned the haunting into a mirror of her fear. Tessa dreaded the unknown presence. She dreaded the fear in herself. What we saw as a fear towards the ghost in the haunted house was actually the fear of losing everything she had built all these years back in Florida. But so the real arc is Tessa learning to open her eyes instead of squeezing them shut. She's so let's just explain it simply. She knows something, Florida, her best friend, the beach, and the version of herself that felt safe. And then she's just thrown into the unknown. Cold, rainy Chicago, a strange school, a house that seems to be alive. And then it's the growth. She made new friends, she had courage, she investigated, and she slowly starts feeling like home. Now, here's my favorite part. Here are some quotes from the book I really liked, and I've decided to share with you guys. First one, I begged them to change them. Oh, sorry. I begged them to change their minds, but they said Dad's new job is important to him and that families should support each other, not to make each other give up the things they love. I mean, think about it. Support each other, right? And not give up the things they love. But that did affect Tessa because she had to give up the things she loved. She loved the beach, she loved Florida, she loved her friend. But she had to give her up. She had to give the beach up. She had to leave. She had to move to a completely new place, which was the exact opposite of her own home. She has no say in a decision that changes her whole life. Next quote. I might miss Florida and all, but I don't want them to feel bad. Life happens, or so the bumper stickers say. What this quote shows is that rather than trying to burden her parents with her grief, Tessa hides it behind a shrug and bumper stickers. Now, this quote shows us that she really thinks that she's a burden and she is really trying not to make her parents think too much about this change. She's just trying to make them happy, but is she happy? She's not thinking about herself. She's trying to protect the adults, swallow the loss, and pretend that the huge change is no big deal for her. Although the truth is that it's a huge deal, and she's not really happy about it. Now, next two quotes. Let's start with the second one just for a change. Okay. So if you know the coordinates of where you're at and where you're going, you'll get there. So what this quote shows. Displacement, so a change, is bearable if you know who you are and where, and basically that's where you're at and where you're headed to. If you know who you are and you're feeling confident with yourself and you know what you want to do, what your goals are, and how to deal with situations, and you know how to get to your goals, well then you're fine. But if you've not made up with yourself, then everything becomes very hard. Because first you have to be good and feeling confident with yourself, because before making any changes or trying any new things. Now, second quote. I know it feels different, colder. Mom reaches back, looking for me in the darkness. I grab her hand, even though I still feel angry. What does this quote show us? Basically, it shows that the weather is how Tessa is feeling. It's not that it's not cold in Chicago or not rainy. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that basically the weather is kind of a, how can I say that? Not foreshadowing. It's basically showing us that Tessa is feeling cold and hollow, empty and sad because she left back what she knew was home and what she felt like home, or the place where she could express herself and be herself. And now she has to build that all over again. And it's not easy building that, is it? Now, next quote. Yeah, you can't see the world all. Blah, blah, blah. You can't see the world or all the wonderful things it has to offer you if you keep your eyes closed. Now, this is the book's thesis in a single line. Basically, the fear that makes us shut our eyes to anything unfamiliar. Tessa's parents urge her to keep her eyes open. They tell her, you can go explore, we're letting you go explore. They were very free actually in the book. They were literally forcing her. She was pleading them not to let her go. Do you understand? That's not alright. Anyway, so basically the meaning of this quote is that you're meeting something unknown, so keep your eyes open, because there are always possibilities of learning something new. And she did learn something new. She made new friends, she had fun, and she even learned about a ghost. Second quote. Most parents would tell their children ghosts do not exist. Not mine, though. They believe in letting us make our own decisions about things like that. Well, I agree with her parents. My parents do the same. They're letting me believe ghosts exist. Now, do you guys believe in ghosts? Okay. Anyway, what does this quote show? So Tessa's parents do not hand her easy certainties. They trust her and let her decide on her own about stuff like ghosts and vampires and monsters. Basically, they let her mind open up and they let her mind be completely free. They're not imposing their own opinion on her. They just let her explore the world by herself and decide what's true and what's not true. Next quote. I think it's the last two. Yeah, it's the last two. Okay. The truth was so much simpler than I ever made it. Now, fear inflames the unknown. Once Tessa understands and faces what is haunting her, the mystery shrinks into something human and understandable. Basically, when we are afraid of something, now let's say I'm afraid of spiders, which is actually true, I'm really afraid of them. Now I see a spider, I start screaming and running around, but let's keep this in between us, guys, okay? We don't need people knowing, right? Anyway, so basically, if you're scared of something, I'm scared of spiders, and I see spiders and I start screaming, but if I just think clearly, is the spider gonna harm me? Probably not. It has nothing, doesn't not have anything better to do. She was scared of the ghost, but when she saw clearly, when she saw the whole picture, and when she understood what was going on behind the story of that ghost, well, she was not scared anymore. They basically became friends. Okay, I'll stop spoiling the plot for you. You can go read the book. Next quote. Pride swells in me. I might have been terrified, and I might have failed at more than a few things along the way. But I still did something special. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is acting in spite of fear, and even in spite of failing along the way. Now, okay, I don't like what I have written here, so let me just explain it, because I wrote it very poetically. I don't like talking poetically. So let's explain this very easily. Basically, what we're saying is that when we have courage, it's not that we're not afraid. You can be courageous and then you can also be afraid of something. Courage is acting, is doing something in spite of fearing. So basically, I fear the spider, but I will stop and stare at it and scream. I'll be scared of the spider and keep on going with my day. I'll go next to the spider because maybe that's where, I don't know, because that's maybe where I've left my phone and I need my phone. I won't stop everything because I'm scared. That's real courage. So, will this book remind you of Stephen King? Now, honestly, there are yes and there are no's. Why yes? Because completely regular kids are facing something ghostly in a place that is and feels totally real. Oh, yeah, okay. Something was wrong with my camera. It's fine now. Anyway, so yeah, regular kids face something ghostly in a place that feels totally real. Have you ever watched it? You know, Pennywise the clown. Well, yeah. Uh, totally normal kids face something completely creepy. Then we have a haunted house hides a dark secret from long ago, and that past keeps breaking into the present. That's true. It also happened in It with the clown again. Basically, there is a haunted house, and that's Tessa's house, and dark secrets from very, very long ago keep on spilling into the present. A group of kids team up against something scary. A lot like Stephen King's It and Stand By Me. See, as I told you. Wait, guys. Yes, I can. Okay. Fine, can you see me now? Yeah, just, it was glitching, I think. Sorry about that. Yeah, so basically, uh, a group of kids, so Tessa and her 3 friends, teamed up against the ghost, Inez Clark. Then the scare comes from a real local legend and a true history. Again, Pennywise the clown. I love this movie actually. It's really creepy. I've watched it so many times. Now, it's actually happening. It's basically the same plot, just different characters. Basically, the story is real because you can go onto the site and look it up. And once you read the book, this story is actually on there. It's a local legend now. Anyway, why won't it remind you of Stephen King? Now, because it's written for readers ages to 8 to 13, obviously, it's not for adults. It is spooky, but there's no blood and, you know, clowns that eat little children. No one dies. That's the only thing I'm going to tell you about it. The fear turns into kindness, and the ending is hopeful instead of dark and scary. Because, have you watched the movie? Let me tell you. Basically, the ending was like, okay, yeah, we killed the clown, but let's wait 28 years. And in 28 years, we don't know if he's gonna come back. But here, in this book, in the end, we know that that's it. That's the end of the story. It ended really nicely. Everyone was happy, and basically Tessa had built her new life. But those people in the movie, well, they will still wait. They have to wait 28 years to see what's going to happen. Then, yeah, this book is short and fast. It's the kind of book what you can finish in one night under the covers. No, you can't. Yeah, maybe if you're like me and you read books really fast, but if you're not a huge book lover, maybe it's gonna take you a while, because as I told you, it's pretty long. It was, let's see. Yes, it was 285 pages long. Anyways, compared to Stephen King's, though, it's obviously way shorter. And yeah, you will find it next to books for children, not to grown-up horror books. So is this, one final question, is it also a movie? No, sadly not yet. I wish it becomes one day. I would really like to watch it. But there's no movie or show yet. So for now, the only way to visit Shady Street is to read the actual book. So to wrap up, thank you guys very much. Hope you liked the video and hope you really enjoy the book if you eventually end up reading it. It's a really cool one. I'll see you very soon. I'll be back with a video. And please, 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 I have uploaded a new video like just a couple of days ago. It was like 2 days ago, I think. Um, please, please go watch it. It's a documentary, a series of podcasts, a documentary about the lives of Formula One drivers. I'm gonna keep on making some. I've got a few more planned in, for the weeks coming. Michael Schumacher, I'm going to do Ayrton Senna, Niki Lauda. Um, there are some more also. Uh, but yeah, this one is about Lewis Hamilton, my favorite driver. I'm a bit biased, but you can go watch the video, please. Hope you'll enjoy it too, and see you very soon. I love you guys. Bye bye.